And happy Thursday. This is Thursday Morning Coffee Rant with Dan. And there's a lot going on now, huh? I don't know what to even start talking about this week. It's the same old boring stuff in the world, isn't it? Okay, just kidding. So I want to start off by, saying, hey, in January, Washington, D.C. on the website put something out along the lines of that Washington, D.C. area, the District of Columbia, had the lowest crime rate and violent crime rate that they've seen in over 30 years. And I guess there's just other stuff that's not known about. That's we need to put U.S. troops in charge of American police. I don't know what they know. And I think sometimes they know what I know and just don't pay attention as far as objective morality under God's natural law. They don't care. My question is, I don't vote. I can see what both sides are doing that are bad. I don't really pick a side. I kind of care about everybody. But my question is, when the last guy, the Demopublican that was in charge, was doing things that were completely insane, and I was against them. I'm against things being put in your body against your will. I'm against having your face covered up. I'm against just a lot of the stuff that I've seen going on from the Demopublicans that the right was losing their mind over, and rightfully so. But from the Republicrats, it's crickets for the most part. And American cities are being invaded. If that was the other way around and it was Democrats doing that, you'd be calling communism. Yeah, go team. This is the Browns versus Steelers, and as long as our team wins, that's all that matters. Go fucking team. Go team. No matter how unconstitutional it is, go team. And the Constitution is something I'd wipe my ass with because I didn't agree to partake in that agreement that was written down several hundred years ago. I don't need something scribbled on a parchment or piece of paper to tell me what my rights are when I know my rights are freedom. And I know that that's our birthright. That's your birthright too. I'm going to always say that. I don't understand what it is about humanity that thinks that they can rule other humans. This is where conspiracy theories come in. I don't think some of these people that are humans or look like humans are actually human. Could it be a conspiracy theory? This could be a conspiracy theory episode. So, since it is, I want to start it out with something here. Anytime they start preparing us with what's coming, it's called predictive programming. This is what the news is for. And the news is reporting that they have spotted an object that is 7 miles long and it's headed towards Earth and should be here by November. And it seems to be an extraterrestrial craft. I'm going to leave it at that for a second. Let's go up to here. And let's do screen capture. And let's go down. I don't want to do this one. I want to do this one. Take a listen to this. This is Dr. Stephen Greer of the Disclosure Project. He's been talking since 2001, congressional meetings, talking about black projects that have no budget. There's no budget. It's a secret budget. I don't really care about what they do. Anything that makes them feel like secret squirrels, that's cool. But for years, they sent people off to be, for at the Roswell crash and different places in the country where there's been sightings of UFOs. They used to call them. Now they call them, aerial phenomenon. Okay, whatever. I like how they like to use their words. So like these unidentified flying objects that were believed to be extraterrestrial for years, people would come and say it's swamp gas, it's weather balloons. They would come to make you, not believe your own eyes. And this was professionals. This was cops. This was pilots. This was a lot of different people. Now they're disclosing, yes, there are extraterrestrials. Well, this is something that a lot of people have kind of known. They're talking about having an official disclosure in the year of 2027. They've already had an official disclosure. I don't know why they're going to make it into a dog and pony show, but there'll be other things going on. But at any rate, listen to what Dr. Stephen Greer has to say.
We can hit a button, he said, and all of a sudden the skies are going to fill up with man-made ET craft, UFOs. What's more likely, however, is that we would then trigger our own man-made craft and creatures that are man-made to engage in all kinds of violent activity. And this they're planning to do anyway. See, this is the other problem. The long-term plan has been to take all these fleets of man-made UFOs. So it goes trillions of dollars, and Lockheed Skunk Works and Northrop Grumman and Raytheon and SAIC and Booz Allen Hamilton and EG&G, all these big corporate contractors for these covert NHI retrieval craft operations. Over 70, 80 years, they've had massive breakthroughs beyond what you can imagine. And so that's why one of our whistleblowers, and when I was doing the briefings for Congress in 1997, he was taken out of the hotel the night before the congressional meetings and taken to a secure location, quote unquote, out in Virginia. And but before that, he had met with us and said he had been on an interagency committee where they could hit a button. This is 1974. He was on this committee 50 years ago. We can hit a button, he said, and all of a sudden the skies are going to fill up with man-made ET craft, UFOs. No one's going to know where they are, and they can engage and start doing violent activities, and it will fool everyone in the U.S. government and every government around the world, never mind the press and the media. That's why they started right before all this, right before the new administration, they started doing all this crazy drone stuff. They're sort of giving a little warning. We can start launching all kinds of stuff. And that was nothing. That was just, buffoonery by comparison. So we know what their capabilities are. I do, for a fact. I'm saying we can hit a button, he said, and all of a sudden the sky...
Okay, that's what Dr. Greer has said. And he's not wrong. When you think about the ancient texts, the Vedas, the different ancient cultures around the world have all talked about wars that went on in the sky and possible nuclear wars and ancient civilizations that were destroyed. It's some interesting fields of research and study. I'm not going to pretend to know, but it seems like history is going to be repeating itself possibly. We've got troops in Washington, D.C., where there's no real crime going on to any degree. So what's going to be going on? I don't know. A bunch of weird stuff. I mean, it's worth questioning. It's worth looking at. We're living in some amazing times, though. We really are. But I grew up in the 80s. So let's look at as part of a speech from President Reagan. It's worth listening to.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
That's a prayer I'm going to say later. Let's go back to this. And let's us get out of the screen capture. Let's close this up. I don't need that. Hey, that's good. Yeah, let's go with that. So having grown up in the 80s, there was this TV show called V the Final Battle where these beings flew their ships here and started off by being our friends, though. And they were actually lizards. And they were dressed up as, humans. Some people say that there was a deep state war in the 80s that we actually won. And they spent the next 20 years improving their methods of mind control. And when I think back to certain things in the 80s and how they've attacked women now, the war now to divide this country seems to be like they've attacked women. And women desire positive masculine containment and protection. But what they've done is they've replaced that with big daddy government. So there's an attack on testosterone, it seems like, while simultaneously an attack on women. And they create a gender war. And then they do things that purposely divide this country and get you guys fighting with each other. Fighting with each other about the merits of a genocide, children being murdered, killed, versus, hey, it's wrong to kidnap and molest children. Of course, it's wrong for both. I think you should totally reject any forms of fucking violence. I don't know why it's that hard. But, when I think back to the 80s, you had all those 80s rockers with all their makeup on and long hair and teased out, looking like chicks, actually. But they messed up because they didn't put the war on testosterone enough, and those guys were still men, and they had socks in their pants and all this other shit. So it really didn't do nothing for the depopulation and population control agenda. It actually backfired. Women loved them. It's kind of not what they're doing now. Now they don't want you to have, they play with the words because they can control the words, they control the narrative, and they control you. So they like to hyphenate words. So now they, instead of having normal masculinity, they want to call normal masculine traits toxic masculinity. Okay. Because like I said in my last week's episode, they don't want you to be able to defend yourself. Only they have a right to come in and use force. They won't be there when you need to defend yourself. So are they trying to say by November that ship, quote unquote, will be here? Remember, they like to put stuff out there and then it gets us conspiracy theorists talking. Wow, is there going to be like a fake alien invasion to institute a new world government because the world will have to come together? I just think it is a lower conscious way of having a one world civilization. A real one world civilization with a new world order of higher consciousness and just a base level line of objective morality. You don't even have to be a good person. Just to have a base level of morality, we can all then actually rise in consciousness and together have a one world where there's no borders and there's no murder and there's free energy for everybody that they confiscated from Tesla, Nikola Tesla. I mean, when you start really going into these ain't even deep rabbit holes. It's all out there. They have to put it out there for you. All you gotta do is just research a little bit. But this was a meme that I came across, and it's like, hey, the world conspiracy theorists believe that the government cares about them, and that the media tells you the truth, and all this other stuff. You guys who believe that, you guys are the conspiracy theorists. People like me are conspiracy analysts. We're trying to decide, is this an actual conspiracy or not? It's already proven that the media lies. It doesn't matter if it's your variant or the other team's variant. Since you want to divide our country into two different teams and cheer for your side when all kinds of immoral, authoritarian, evil bullshit's going on, it's okay if it's your team, but it's not okay if it's the other team. Both teams are wrong. I don't give a shit about their ideology. If you can't see what they're doing, you're blind. I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to try to convince you. But yeah, if you believe that the government cares about us, because throughout history, governments have shown that they care about us. And we need to have government because we can't trust men humans, man can't be trusted. So they need to be governed, mind controlled, governed. Okay, I agree. We can't be trusted. I agree. I don't trust a lot of people. I've had somebody in my life that I trained, and he abused women, and he lies and does all this stuff, and he's getting away with it, and it won't happen forever because karma will come back. That's how karma works. So usually for people on a personal level that we all have in our lives, you just kind of sit back and let karma do its job. You stay away from people who are toxic. I'm not like hyphenating toxic with anything. Doesn't need to be. People that are toxic, you just stay away from. Karma gets them. It does. It really does. To the point sometimes where I feel bad for how much karma gets them. But you're like, God damn, karma! I didn't want you to do all that. I didn't want you to do anything. Oh wow! So what goes around comes around. When they're vibrating, okay, and the government does this, but the government gets others to do their work for them. Well, when you're vibrating in a state of a low emotional state of lies, of deception, of violence and hurting other people, that comes back to you. There's science behind it. It's not even woo-woo stuff. There's science behind it. I say some type of a prayer with some type of conviction, and I mean it and I put it out there. It has certain amounts of power, and if you pretend like it doesn't, why do these three desert guy, invisible guy in the desert sky religions exist? And all this murder's been conducted on their behalves. Why do we have all these rituals surrounding our court system and the laws that are made? There is something to it. I don't know what's going on here. All right. Saying that something is illegal is not an argument. It is an appeal to authority, so-called authority. Laws are arbitrary dictates to control a population. So is religion. Not universal standards of morality. A universal standard of morality would be, to me, and from everything I've studied and seen in my own personal life, is, first off, what are your rights? We talked about the Constitution. Your rights are not an adjective describing what some arbitrary, immoral politician says you can do. Okay, some arbitrary dictate that they say is now law, but it used to be okay to do, now it's not, and vice versa. That's man deciding shit. Okay, God's law is real simple. What are your rights? They're not an adjective, they're a verb. Any action you take that does not initiate harm to another sentient being is okay to do. under God's natural law. That includes all the most freakiest sexual shit you can possibly think of if it's adults agreeing to do it. Take your religion that murders everybody because they don't believe in the same version and stick it up your ass. Okay? So you gotta know what your rights are. They're actions that don't initiate harm. What is moral to do? Moral to do is what your rights are. Anything that does not initiate harm is moral. Anything that initiates harm is not moral. It's a base level. You don't even have to be a good person to understand this. You could be antisocial and hate people and not want to be around nobody sometimes. Just, whatever. But if you have that base level understanding, you can then become a better person later on. You can start to become that higher egoic level, what you envision yourself being, what you want to become. Don't tell me that this is moral, that the harming of children is moral. No war is. Now I can't even think of a moral war. Or I can't think of a war that's out there caused because of it's not against something immoral like slavery. We're slaves. And what's coming up, they want to institute a complete world slavery that's over, because what we've had in the 20th century, probably the 19th century too, and into the 21st century, is a covert form of slavery. They obfuscate what the morals are, and they get the order followers to do the actions that puts the onus of karmic law on the order follower for taking the action. Don't do something you know is wrong. You got to get over your own ego, okay? You got to get over your own ego, your own darkness. Where are your prejudices at? You have to get over your own to then understand that what you're doing is immoral under God's laws. And it's going to bring more bad juju back to you. Okay? This is not moral. I don't even know if these motherfuckers are human, to be honest with you. These people that are okay with murder and war and the determination of an entire species, an entire ethnicity, I should say, of human being. This is terrible. I've cried more times than I can't even talk about it. It's completely immoral. I threw this in there. I know people personally who think it's okay to hit women, and they lie about it. Their karma's going to come back to them. It always does. Collectively, okay? That's on a day-to-day level because people could never admit they're wrong. On a big level, this is what we collectively are getting. Do we think we could allow this and it not come back to all of us? All of humanity is going to share the same fate. You Republicrats who are okay with the stuff that's going on, you're going to share the same fate. You're cheering on your own slavery. Same thing with you Demopublicans when all this shit was going on when the other guy was in office. Down with the patriarchy. Let's go vote for old white guys. Yay! Okay, fucking dumbasses. But it's wrong to hit people. It's wrong to initiate harm. Quit playing the victim. People try to play the victim to think it's okay to do this. Even if it's on video, they'll try to lie about it. Even if it's on video, they'll try to justify it. You can't justify lies, coercion, manipulations to harm others and then justify it and think it's right. It's not going to fucking happen. We're all going to be unalived again soon. The whole world. And it ain't going to be by fake aliens. It ain't going to be by man-made reversed engineer technology when they come around and start doing the violent shit that we're going to start seeing in the skies pretty soon. Maybe in November, maybe later. But it's coming. Don't be shocked. This is the greatest time in human history, man. I grew up in the 80s. I watched V. I'm ready to see it. Okay. All right. I mean, we have to admit when we're wrong about stuff. Be willing to be wrong. Be willing to say, hey, man, I was fooled. I was bamboozled. Or I did wrong. And then you make amends for it. If you can. Or you just turn into a better person. That's the problem. People will they will tell lies to such a degree and lie to themselves to such a degree they believe their own bullshit. And they would rather destroy somebody who speaks the truth and knows the truth than to admit they're fucking lying. I see this and I get livid. But this is a good book for you guys. For everyone who can't admit they're wrong, go team, keep voting. I think this is an excellent book. Oh, I gotta get my glasses. I should have gotten them. How to what's that say? How to remain humble when you've never been wrong in your life. It's hard to remain humble, always being right. So this was a great book for me to get. Since I've always been right and never been wrong, I really needed to read this book on how to remain humble, having always been right and correct. Because that's all that matters, is that I'm correct and you're incorrect. Meanwhile, we're going to be all murdered. They're going to make excuses about it. All right, so let me get back to something. Thor is going to have his hands full with the Midgard serpent, Jormungandr in English, Jormungandr. That is the world serpent. Thor, you're gonna have your hands full, man, with the world serpent. And let's get rid of this. I really gotta get my stuff together here better. If extraterrestrials were coming here, first off, most of them are higher conscious beings that aren't going to mean us harm. I think the ones that mean us harm are still on this planet and never left. That's a theory, that's not a conspiracy. And that's based on research. But if extraterrestrials were going to drive in on a 7-mile, mothership to harm us, do you think we'd see them coming? They don't have the technology. We're going to see them. We can prepare for them. Yeah, let's get the war. Thank God it was amazing. We started a Space Force back in 2016. Let's get the Space Force on it. Like these dots are so close together, you can't connect them. Do you think extraterrestrials are going to be seen if they come here? Where it's not even known what the nature of many of these. They can go in and out of different dimensions, some people think. How do they disappear, make these changes? And this is just all theories, but don't you think a species, we've got like a stealth bomber that doesn't get picked up by our radar. You don't think that an interstellar traveling species of extraterrestrial wouldn't have the capability of hiding themselves? Don't you think they couldn't come here and completely destroy us if they wanted, and they wouldn't have to do it secretly, like it's a mission? We're going to we can't hide ourselves. Or let's scare them instead. That's what we'll do. We'll scare them. We'll let them see us. If they see us coming, we'll scare them. No, do you think they don't have the technology to cloak themselves? And do you think there's going to be laser battles and bullets and lasers and stuff? You think that's how they would wage war against us? They could probably come here, spray something in the atmosphere, like Dr. Veer said one time, come back a year later and we're all dead and dissolved. I mean, come on. Really think. Use your senses when all this stuff starts happening. I'm not saying it isn't going to look amazing. Some of it might even be Project Bluebeam. It could be like these different things they can put in the sky and make it look real. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You just got to research and study a little bit. Don't just turn on the news and think that, hey, I got it down. I don't have it down. I mean, nobody does, but I just personally believe. I'm just, kind of going off on a tangent right now. I actually wasn't even in the mood to do this today. I was like, no, I said I was going to start doing it every Thursday. They would not let us know they were coming unless they came in peace. Even then, I don't think they'd have to let us know. If they were coming to do us harm, they definitely wouldn't let us know. They're still organic, but they want to let us know and take a chance at us being able to beat them. I'm sure they've seen the movie Independence Day. Would they want to chance that? Oh, what other theories do I have? What other theories? So if that kind of stuff was to start happening in November, whoa, our world would, go a little crazy. We'd still be doing what we got to do. We'd still have all the distraction-tainment up there. Like, freak show combat sports matches and people being paid off to lose, fights to people, and big MMA events in different places. Yeah, I don't know. I think we have to start admitting when we're wrong, man. We have to try to come together. We have to have some love and compassion for people. I've had people who've done me wrong, as we all have, and I have prayed for them daily that they find some healing, they get better, that God with a capital G keeps them safe. Because a lot of times the people that'll do you wrong are going to be people who were close friends or even family, and you don't want to wish them harm. You want to wish them healing. Well, I would extend that to all my brothers and sisters on this planet, that we need healing. The more healed we are, the less in fear we are. The less we vibrate in a state of fear, the harder we are to control and fool. With that said, I'm going to end this with a quick prayer that I like. When I come across these, I like them. And I'll say them. Not in a religious manner, but in a manner with some type of authority and in a manner with some type of conviction, because then the universe has to listen to you. And if somebody says, oh, look at all that stuff, this guy's into this and into that, I'll go, okay, man. All right. And that bearded, invisible guy in the desert sky is real. So we'll murder each other over that dude. But I revoke access to all entities and their strings that cause harm to me. I rebuke all energies that keep me from my blessings. May my guides remove any spells cast against me, block any and all ill intentions coming for me, and protect me fiercely. No spell shall prosper against me. I recall my energy and reclaim my power. None of their fear, projections, or energy can live within me. Their prayers against me fall upon deaf ears. May the divine hold and protect me. Remove all ill will that is shackled to my spirit and set me free. As I will, so mote it be. I am free and unbound. And with that said, man, nothing but peace and love. See you guys next week. Happy Thursday. Stay safe.